All right, now she can hear you.
Okay. Did
Hello?
you guys listen to the podcast for the letters?
Yes. Oh, God, I did. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
Funny.
Who are you?
Kelly.
Kelly?
Sometimes I think it comes up Katerina, depending on what accounts I want.
Okay. Hi, Kelly. This is the first time you've been here.
To the book club, yes.
Yes. Thank you for coming. Um, Brooke was so funny on that podcast. I mean, I had no idea she was going to be dressed like the Queen of England and talk like her. Hi. That way.
There was so much laughing.
Wait. You want this or you want the circle?
It's a book discussion.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, you're in the
Wow,
right
you're
room.
in the right
Yay.
I'm shocked.
I know, everybody else is going.
I know it. It's like, wow.
Trying
And
to
who
get
are
rid of
you? And who are you?
I'm Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
And you've been to my house, in 95, 94.
Do you remember that?
Okay.
Oh, Brooke says, hi, Karen.
What did I have for breakfast this morning? I don't know.
Oh, I didn't expect you to remember.
No, okay.
So Brooke says hello.
Was it? It's a,
Yes. And Sapphire says hello.
Okay, so anyway, those letters are really funny because I didn't know she was going to be acting like the Queen of England. She cracked me up. Honest to God, she cracked me up. So, and my friend in California saw it while we were doing it.
Oh, fun.
Oh, she says, I just thought I'd turn it on and see what's going on. She said, there you guys were. She thought that in the condo next to her, they were gonna have to call the cops. She was laughing so hard.
Oh.
So, it's like, oh,
I'm
God.
glad we were that entertaining.
That's right, you certainly were. Okay, so did you read the book?
Yes.
yes.
What did you think?
It was cute.
Cute. I like that.
Yeah,
It was
very
cute.
cute.
Was it what you expected?
I didn't expect anything when I saw it. It's like, okay, this is something different.
Okay.
So I didn't go in with expectations.
How about you, Debbie?
When I first started it, I was reading it in public and I started to cry. It was hard not to cry.
First chapter is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the prologue, or whatever you call it.
Yeah, it was sad.
It was.
It's just hard for me to wrap my head around. I believe, but it's just, in the physical body, I don't have these abilities, so I like reading about other people.
Other
who
people,
do.
what they do,
Yeah.
right. How about you, Sue? What did you get out of it?
I was amazed at how much information the wife, Irene, was able to get from a medium. I mean, there's chapters and chapters of what Saul is saying. Just how many different past lives, what their future life might be, what her goal is in this life, what their goal is. I was amazed that much information was passed to a medium. And I was also waiting for them to mention eating bagels, and I didn't hear one word about a bagel.
Yeah, the very first part. He was
Okay.
so surprised in heaven that there are bagels.
Okay.
That was that's the only time it's
Okay.
mentioned.
Maybe I was
Right.
waiting for something
No,
more
no.
along those lines.
No, it's not mentioned any other time in the book. How about you?
The first review that I read when I was looking at the title for the first time, it was talking about how it was such a great love story. And I was like, wait a minute. What did Marianne and Melissa direct us to? Do I have the right book? But I keep hearing more and more about goals, like how we all have goals that are set before we're brought to Earth. So it's very
Well, each life you're
Interesting
supposed to do
concepts.
better than your last one.
Right.
So that would be goals.
right.
Right. Melissa and I talked, and we almost came to the conclusion that since we started this, we did a book that was going to be something metaphysical. It's something you could learn. Well, then we figured out that nobody's coming because they don't want to come to school. They just want to read something fun. So my friend who called me up, she goes, I got the best book for your book club. And she read me the title of it. and who it was. And I said, it's just a plain old book. She said, yeah. I says, oh, that's good. Let's just do nothing you have to learn, just a plain old book. Now, when I go look at a book to buy, I read everything, the inside about the author, everything. When somebody recommends a book to me, I don't read any of this. I just want to read it on my own, not what somebody said. Because when I wrote my books, I got people that go to say nice things to write on the cover. Why would you just put something that's bad? And so why trust them? Whatever. I was so shocked that the man wrote this book and not her.
Mhm.
I'm reading this. I got through his talking and everything, and I'm thinking, now we're going to hear from her. She never,
No,
she didn't have anything to do with it, except
writing it down.
Yeah, it was all about his, that's what, so much information, it was all his information in the book.
the whole time I was reading this and all the places she went, and all the psychics she saw, and all the different people that could do all these different things for her, this woman has to be a millionaire. Because how could you afford that?
I thought the same thing. But then she had his, real estate.
Well, yeah, then I
to-
start going back and I'm
to, you know,
thinking, and they
take
had
care
that cabin in the
of,
Catskills.
Oh,
I'm thinking, oh, so they must have been okay. But she was finding people, and she wasn't just going to these people one time, she kept going over and over to them.
And how did she find, were there duds in between,
It doesn't say, but I'm sure there was,
you know?
because anytime you go to different places,
Mhm.
you're going to find one or two that doesn't connect with you.
Right.
And I've been some really good ones. Oh, they'll, and it's like, yeah, they didn't get shit from me.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
So,
And it was crazy because I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if you guys do it, maybe I'm just so stupidly weird, but when I talk to somebody on the phone or I listen to a message, the voice, I try to picture what this person is going to look like.
Mhm.
It's like when I started doing all these radio interviews, when Ghost Whisperer came out and everything, you'd go to a radio station and you'd have to meet with the disc jockey and get the earphones on and do everything. And it's like, the one thing about radio personalities is their voices are wonderful, but they're ugly as hoe handles. They truly are. There's nothing good looking about a disc jockey, at least on the radio shows that I've been on. But their voices are wonderful. But that's what they make their money on, their voices on the radio. You don't have to see them. So I try to picture what this little lady looked like. And at the end, there's actually a picture of her. Not what I had pictured at all. I had something totally else. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how she can get. I don't know how all the people she went to could get all that information from him. I've been doing this for so long and I get information, but not a book full of information on just one person. And I disagree. There's no way he could know the future.
yeah, that hit me as odd.
That is so off. There's what happened now, what happened in the past, because when you reincarnate, there's always a piece of you that stays.
Mhm.
So that piece would know past lives. So I go along with that. Why he would tell somebody all that, I don't understand. And I don't know if they can really do that or not. I don't know. Just because it's never happened with me doesn't mean it can't happen, but I don't know if that
One
really.
telling the future or seeing past
Well,
lives?
talking that much to details, playing in the yard, washing her hanky in the creek, how does that happen? I don't understand how that can work.
Well, it could almost be like the psychic is just telling her a story, she wants to hear a story about her past life. So, okay, at one time you were Jewish and he was a rabbi, and I'll embellish that a little bit. And who's to say whether it's right or
Wrong.
not right? 1500s they're talking, even one of the stories.
That's right. That's right.
So maybe the psychics wanted to help write the book.
You here for the book fair or book club?
The
No.
psychic fair, that, or the psychic store.
Development. Did
That
you
one.
pay next door already?
Yes.
Okay, right around
Online.
online. Okay, right around.
Thank you.
That's okay, no. Yeah, but I agree with you, Sue. I don't know how so much information, and I really think the lady in the cabin that was barefoot that had to feed her 3 kids, how did she get all that information? I don't, if it's true, she was letting Saul come through her and talk, like Whoopi Goldberg did in
Right.
Ghosts, right?
Yes. That's what she did. And
I don't know. I don't know. I think that I just, Brooke, did you read it? Is there anything you want to say about this?
Well, Linda did say that she said, yes, took me a moment to realize it was her late husband. Maybe he gave her tips on the stock market too. So we'll see if Brooke or anybody else read it. Karen said it was an awesome book.
It was a fun book to read because it was like, oh boy, I can't wait to see what happens next. Even if I don't believe it, but I still want to see what happens next. I think she got some information psychics, good psychics can give you information. That's the truth. They can really do that. That's their gift. But I don't think they can go into that kind of detail. I don't know how they could do that. Do you know psychics that can be that clear and that precise, give enough information to write a 150-page book?
Not a whole book. I'd like to think our readers are good. I test them all. But to sit there and put out a whole novel for that long, because nothing is set in stone. Every choice you make every minute of the day, there's like multiple options of what could happen depending on what you choose. So how does he know every choice he's going to make? But then the argumentative side of me says, well, if we all have that blueprint, right?
Yeah, but it's
So
just
that
a
blueprint
blueprint.
say?
It doesn't mean it can't be changed.
She went to enough of them. If you put all their stories together, I guess that would give you.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
150
how
pages.
many years did she do this before she put the book together?
13? I think it was 13 years before she got the book together. Because that was his thing. He told her she had to write a book.
Right.
Right.
So I think it was
13
about
years.
13 years before it came out, actually. And personally, I think she sounded like she was a little angry about the whole thing, that that's what he wanted her to do. I don't think she was real happy about it.
So Brooke says, she said, I thought it was a little unrealistic that she had all of that money to afford all the psychics. And also agreed on getting information that clear is a little sketchy. Yeah, depending on what she was paying some of those psychics.
Well, and I think it's funny because the back of the book, she had some of these people that she went to. This Angie DiBenedetto, she did talk about her in the book.
Mhm.
But all the other ones she saw, she didn't recommend in the back of the book.
Yeah, Angie's the only one.
She was the only one that she recommended.
Was it a payoff or was she the only one worth a damn? That's
Well, she gave them
inquiring
Angie
minds.
Yeah,
I know.
and their fees are there, but how many times did she go? It sounds terrible, but yeah, when I clear a house, that's my job and I charge for that. But I don't go back every week. I'm pretty sure that once I clear a house, if they do what they're supposed to, they won't be seeing me again.
Yeah, Brooke says maybe she got a discount for her readings because of being mentioned in the book.
Maybe. Who said that?
Brooke.
Oh, good thinking, maybe.
I think that got a percentage of royalties too.
Oh, yeah, I guess she could. Well, I don't think she got too much for this.
Well, and then the smart ass side, it was like 13 years, I would want a bigger book. If you've been going to readers and got so much information for 13 years, that is a pretty skimpy book.
And how did he know about the lives that she had that he wasn't with her?
I thought they spent most of them together.
Now, there were a couple
There was
that
a
she
couple
was
that
by
they were
herself, and how did he know about that?
part of my mind goes the Aztec records. He could have easily been checking in on that.
Well, see, and Karen even said, bridging heaven and earth together, soul lives on forever, going through the Akashic records. So, but just because you're dead and crossed over, you can look at anybody's Akashic records.
I don't think that's true.
I kind of, the whole Akashic records versus the tapestry versus all the things.
Who is this?
What is that?
With the Akashic Records.
One of the ladies over here actually has done classes and stuff, anything on it with it for a few years.
Because her name is nowhere on here.
Yeah, Julie Clusta.
What is it?
Julie Clusta. Didn't realize she left a paper over. I'm like, who is that? But yeah, she actually taught one.
Well, she should have put her name on it if she wants people to call her.
Yeah.
It doesn't say who she
Well,
is.
I had to drag her out of it. I'm like, you've been doing this and doing this and doing this and doing this, and people have asked for this class. And she's like, fine. Kind of like how I pull other people out of the reader closet at times. Like,
Do it.
yeah,
Do it.
quit kicking the rock around and pretend. Like, just
Okay.
do it.
Okay. So what else do you have to say about this? Anything else that you think is pertinent about this book?
I found something really odd in this book, and that was a couple times Saul said that staying in heaven is kind of like a punishment if you were a bad person or you did harm to somebody and you weren't able to reincarnate back to earth until all of that was resolved and all the next generations and it was all cleared. And it's like,
That's not
oh,
secret.
because you couldn't touch somebody.
That sounds
That
more
was
like
like total
purgatory.
baloney to me. It's like heaven is no illness and joy, and
That's right. That's
he
right.
made it sound like everybody goes to heaven, even the really bad people. And it's kind of like a punishment to not be able to come
To
back.
come
Earth.
back and do what you, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I agree, and I don't think that's true in heaven. I don't. I'm sure bad people go to heaven, but
Right.
they learn to be good, you know, and I don't think that's true. I think the biggest motivative thing that this whole book was that they were so sexually compatible. And I think that's what it was. They kept coming back for sex. I'm sorry, but that's what I think. That's all they talked about through the whole thing. I mean, and I have to, it's terrible, Ted doesn't even know I did this. I was watching and I was talking to him. You know how he keeps saying that he watched some vein in her neck pulsing, that
Yes.
he knew?
Mhm.
Did anybody ever see a vein like that in the neck? I was talking to Tim the other day, first he was going around when I was talking to him, to see if his vein was pulsing. Yeah, sorry. So,
Ted, did you know your experiments? Yeah.
yeah. Did they officially lose? What is it now?
Or is it the baseball game?
Yeah.
We interrupt this book club for an Indian.
Yeah.
Guardians.
That was the 9-5
Us?
No.
They're done.
Damn. See, when I start getting excited is when they start losing. So that's why I'm like, I no longer try to pay attention and just every now and then like, oh, we made it to playoffs. And now that I'm like, oh, I wonder how we're doing. Oh, damn it.
Did you hear that they couldn't find any hotel rooms for any of them last night?
No.
Oh, Gina says like how like I pester readers. She's like, oh, like how you pester Marianne to do things. Thank you.
Apparently the Guardians figured that they were either going to go to Texas or wherever or come home because they won or lost. And because it was rained out, they weren't counting on that. They had to stay overnight and nobody made hotel reservations. And there was not one hotel room left in New York.
Oh, because of the game.
So they didn't even say where they ended up going. And the problem was that a lot of them brought their families with them because it was the playoffs.
Oh my gosh.
And so they did. So
Maybe they just didn't want to give them names.
that's what I'm saying. Because they are so Mormon friendly in New York.
Oh, they're our biggest. Them in like Detroit when it comes to baseball they're our biggest.
Yeah, when I was in New York with my publicist for one of the books, I don't know which one, I think when Go Speak, we were done someplace and we were walking back to the hotel and there was a lady getting into a cab. So it was a while ago because it wasn't an Uber, it was definitely a cab. And she had like a bunch of papers in her arms, and as she bent to the cab, some of the papers slipped out. And I was from here to there. So I ran over, and it was a little windy, and I put my foot on one so it didn't go under the cab, and then I stooped down and I started picking it up. My publicist she's such a kind, nice lady. She walks over to me and she goes, "What are you doing?" Helping her pick up her papers. She goes, "Not in New York, you don't do that."
Why?
You don't look at anybody in the eye in New York, and you don't talk to anybody in New York. I went, "Oh, yeah, I don't think so."
And you don't stop walking.
No, that's,
Do
that,
not stop walking because
Yeah.
they'll run you over and cuss you out.
yeah, they will.
Just keep moving.
Some lady at Chinese yesterday, I was behind her, but there was a space, and something caught her eye on the shelf, and she stopped and backed up, and I was going forward. I went, "This is going to end up right up your butt if you don't stop doing stuff like that." And she says, "Yeah, it won't be the first time I've done that a lot." I'm thinking, "Lady, you're dangerous."
It's a little bit TMI too.
Yeah, right.
So back to about the heaven thing.
Yeah.
Karen said it mentioned he felt guilt in heaven. Aren't you supposed to be in a higher realm where guilt is left on earth?
Yes, you're right. I agree with you.
And Linda says, I agree. No one's left out of heaven. I think inevitably we all awaken to our reality, which is heaven, and we will be there together as one with God's source, whatever you will. Heaven isn't dualistic.
No, and I think that's it. And I've always said, I think there's only one God. He's just got a bunch of different names. Why are the Catholics better than Baptists? Please. It's good and bad in every sector. Nobody's perfect. So, yeah, but I
Yeah, that was one thing when I was reading the book, I kept thinking this, the way he's talking, it almost sounds like he's more like in purgatory than in heaven and doesn't know that he's not in heaven.
right. But you know, the church threw out purgatory.
Well,
Yeah, there's no purgatory anymore.
Well, maybe depending on when they
thousands of
put it
years, and
out.
all of a sudden they're just going, sorry.
I'm going to go lock that door because
Are you for the circle?
I'm here, meditation.
Back
they
there.
started back there at 7.
There's a lot of people learning how to do whatever they're doing back there that don't all have bodies, let me tell you. I don't think they're gonna be on our tour tonight.
Yeah, okay. They're gonna be going home, huh?
Yeah, I imagine they will be going home. Yeah. So somebody just stand out there and knock now?
They will, but 7 is the start time, not 7:30, not 7:45. You can knock, we won't hear that. That's right.
So what else, anything else pop up that was a little off for you?
Well, seeing the past lives, that I can kind of understand, like you said, if they were in it together. Because I've even done past life regression, and I know a little bit about 2 lives. And what little bit I know is pretty good detail. But I couldn't tell you everything about the life. I just have that little snapshot, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's when I've been regressed too. And that's when you can tell the person that's regressing you what you're seeing.
Right.
And then, but it's amazing because you don't always remember what you told whoever regressed you.
Right.
Luckily, the person that did us taped it. And when you walked out, she gave you the tape.
Mhm.
And then you remember when you listen to the tape, and then you actually start remembering more.
Right.
But not to the kind of detail that he came up with. I don't know. I don't know how he did that.
I will. Didn't read the book, right? I'll admit that. Because we just did this other book review, and I had to read other 8 books. The first past life regression I did, I can still remember like from start to finish on that one, but it was a traumatic one to where he had a hard time pulling me out of it because like mentally I did not want to leave.
Okay.
So I think that's maybe why that one sticks with me so bad. And I was almost obsessed with it for years after, trying to trace back that person and find that history and those people. And then like, who are they now? Because there was this guilt of dying and leaving them. But I can remember like when he would like progress and say, go a little bit forward, go now, what's this? I can remember every bit of that. Other ones that I've had, little snips, but they weren't like, oh my God, like that one was.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only reason why that one sticks, but I remember beginning to end on that one.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know how much people remember. I think it depends on who's ever doing the regression too. I think that has something to do with it, so I don't know. But like I said, I could never write a book about what I learned from when I was regressed. I wouldn't have that kind of information.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I found out some things, but I think people get regressed for a very specific reason. They're looking for an answer to something, otherwise they wouldn't do it. And what I was looking for, I don't care how many doors I opened up, I couldn't find the answer to what I was looking for. So, but there's other people that do. I guess it just depends. Like I said, I just can't. I just can't buy this whole thing. And seeing that she wrote his words, how much did she have to write?
Because even if she taped it and was just typing it from the tape, you still have that tendency of
course, you have to. No, you thought about it wrong. It was this way.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of the stuff especially the present life, she would have remembered if she was still alive. And she wasn't being regressed, so how would she remember if he was right or wrong?
Mhm.
I don't understand that.
The other thing too is they did this basic common life is about love and kindness through every one of them. And it's like, well, yeah, duh. It's like,
But what else is there?
Is she
Of
writing a book
course.
that that's the lesson, that life is about
Right.
loving and being kind? It's like,
That's what we all strive to do to some
Anyway,
point.
but
That's right.
she said that over and over, and even in the end, it's all about being loving and kind. Even in the very last page.
The
the
last
epilogue.
sentence, that's what it says.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's what it said. Yeah, exactly. That was what it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's
Not a big revelation.
not a big revelation.
And I get, with reincarnation, I get so frustrated because, if I sat down and I planned this life,
Why?
I don't remember what I decided to do. And if I'm supposed to learn lessons, I feel it's so unfair. I don't have a syllabus. I don't even know what class I'm in. And I get so frustrated with that. And so, I guess it's just be loving and kind.
Well, but it's
Okay, we can all go home now.
pretty obvious. I mean,
Game
But
over.
and the other thing, what did he fix in each consecutive life? Nothing.
a lot of it ended in tragedy.
That's right. He didn't fix anything. And when you reincarnate, you're supposed to fix what you had to from a past life. What did he fix?
Maybe his hope is that writing the book will help fix whatever it is he didn't take care of. Which I don't think it works that way, but that could be where his mind was.
Yeah, maybe, or whoever she was getting the information from. I don't know. I think it's interesting that because she obviously, that was her whole soulmate thing. But it also said that she's had a couple, what did she call them? She didn't call them flings, but she had a couple flings. Whatever she called them, yeah, but it didn't work out. And I wonder what he thought about that.
Well, no, she said he wanted them to be
Happy,
And sex was a big part of
Yeah, with him
all their
anyway.
lives.
So I don't know.
When I first picked up this book, I thought it was gonna be something different.
Yeah, me too.
And, well, not that this was bad or a book or anything like that, but I like to read a lot about near-death experiences, and I kept waiting for Saul to come back after his trip to heaven, but then it became obvious that he wasn't coming back and she was getting her information a different way. But by the title of this book, I thought they were gonna tie in like some people's
Right.
life after death experiences that come back.
That's right.
And
That's
I'm
what I
really
was
interested
thinking.
in those. So,
He didn't see the white light right away.
Not right away. He did say it was there, but not right
He had
away.
to go through
Something
Dark
first, and
veil
I
or
don't buy
something
that
that's like-
because the minute you die,
like,
you're out of
where's
your
the
body,
light?
and there's the
Where's-
white light. So I don't know what that was all about.
I too kind of wonder if it wasn't, not that she's making all of it up, but if it was her way of working through the grief.
Maybe. Put her in a good light.
Mm.
And it never actually said how old he was when he died. Unless I totally missed it.
I don't know. For
I
some
know it was
reason-
both their second marriages.
Yeah, for some reason I was thinking like early 50s, but
I
I
don't
don't remember
know.
if that was just something I saw in my head as
I don't
opposed
know.
to in the book,
Yeah.
or, hell, by the time I hit my second marriage, I was up there, so.
I don't know.
So Karen said, loving and kindness until I get cut off by a car and shit that jerk. Okay, back to kindness. And Brooke says there was a surprising amount of sex talk for such a short book.
Yeah, sex sells.
Yeah.
Well, that's why he wanted to come back to her, apparently. There was
Yeah, it seems like that was all it was for. I know. He never mentioned the kids. I don't know, if you're a family person, yeah, maybe your wife or your husband is top priority, but there was no mention of the kids, nothing. And he had to, and believe me, when you come back, you're with the same circle, so these kids are gonna be around him again anyhow, some way.
Right.
But I
Could
think
be
it was
parent.
interesting, in a lot of the past lives, they didn't even have kids. Which I thought was interesting.
Well, is it always your family, or doesn't it include like your circle of friends? or
Oh, yeah, no,
coworkers?
your friends can be your relatives in a past life, and, yeah, and you don't always come back as the same sex either, you know, you come back as a man or a woman or whatever, you don't come back as a dog or a cat. You know, or a
Darn.
person, but, no, unless you're Indians, then you come back as a cow, but that's beside the point.
So that book from a couple months ago said that,
Yeah, well, that was wrong too.
fairies become. That was the last one that I tried to and I'm like, I can't do this book. I can't. And I was actually going to flip through this one. I just got swapped with the other book. The
It took
bound
me 2
books.
hours to read this book, it's a real quick read.
I might take a peek at that Awake Dreamer for next month. Just to,
Yeah, I have to look at that one.
the cover's pretty.
Yeah, I
What's
haven't.
the next one?
The Awake Dreamer.
I was on their show. They're the Psychic Sisters. Samantha Faye is one of the writers, or is the writer of this book. And she's got 2 podcasts. One is called With Her Friends, Psychic Sisters, and I forget what the other one is called. But she's really got good information, and I've been trying to get hold of her. I've been trying to get hold of Renee from Minnesota.
Okay.
She's the one that recommended the book. And I was hoping if I could get hold of Samantha, that she would come on even on a phone call with us next month.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah, so that she could. So I'm still going to try to do that. If I can do it, we'll get it out somehow that we're doing that. But I'm hoping that she will come on and talk to us. It would be nice if this Irene woman was standing right here, where you could say, where did you get that from? How did you get that? why did you get that? And it's nice when, and anytime I was ever invited to a book club, whatever they asked, I told them. And I think most people would do that, but I would be curious. I wish she could be standing here so we could just ask her the questions. But I did that at Borders with James Van Prague.
Mhm.
And that's the other thing. Those are the three. She went to see John Edwards. There's no way John Edwards gave her that much information. No way. I know him. No way can he give her that kind of information.
We should get him on the phone
Yeah.
and ask him about the book.
Yeah, I actually have his cell phone number. I could call him.
Be like, do you remember this lady?
Well, he should. And she had James in here too, and Teresa. But
Do I need to edit that part out before?
oh, yeah, I didn't say which one.
Okay. Wink, wink.
Yeah, right. No, but there's, I don't know. But when we did James's book at Borders, he was on the phone. Oh my God, what did Brooke say? She said something.
I didn't know
What
it's
did she
Brooke.
say?
But it is Brooke. She says it's always fun to have the authors, but then we have to be polite.
Well, James was okay when he was on.
Oh,
I had him on the phone. Yeah, he was fine.
well,
I
the guy
couldn't
that
get
we
him off
had.
the phone actually. But
Well,
that's
then
James.
when we had that local author here with us, which
Yeah, with all his equipment. Wow.
Like,
Yeah,
oh.
did that.
I didn't realize we were doing such a presentation.
I know.
But
I was embarrassed. So,
Very efficient.
anything else that you got out of this?
I'm very cynical with things. So, if you go to a psychic, when I go to a psychic, I say very, very little because I don't want to feed into it. Because especially if you don't know the person. If you're going for the first time, they really proven themselves to you. So I think a lot of it is, what's going to sell for a book. If he just said, don't bet on Seabiscuit, that's not going to sell a book. But having this whole story and, about future winnings and all that kind of thing, that's going to sell a book.
Right.
So I'm very cynical when it comes to these kind of books. And, I try to see what the recurring theme is, through a lot of different YouTube videos and books and that sort of thing. And, just like I recently heard about Matt Frazier. He's a psychic. He's out of New York, New Jersey.
I think I heard of him.
He seems really good. Thursday I'm doing a Zoom with him, so it'll be interesting. But he sees people that have passed on, and he was explaining how heaven's kind of like a condo building. Like everybody's in that building, but everybody's condo is different. And he says that's how heaven is. So that's kind of what I thought this book was going to be, more like Saul's version of what heaven is. But, he says, like, if you expect heaven to be like this, that's how it's going to be for you. And it's going to be different for this person, just like all the religions kind of have. They all believe in a heaven.
Just a different type
It's
of
just,
heaven.
there's just different things there and what we're going to expect. So I'm trying to just get like trying to make up my own mind about different things, just what the recurring themes are across the board with everybody.
Yeah, it's hard though.
Yeah.
Because like I said, everybody is very,
They have their own agenda.
yes, they do.
Well, just like this lady, if you went to that many psychics over that many years, you're going to start this own little rhetoric in your head of what you want to believe your past lives were or how things are. So I think if you go to enough places, you'll find, if you're looking, like you said, when you did your regression, you kept opening a door trying to find the answer.
Right.
If you go to enough psychics, somebody's in 13 years, somebody's
gonna
bound
find
to tell
something.
you
Right.
what you want to hear.
Yeah. I said, I don't know. I laughed and because I've said it before, when especially James, when he's in front of a crowd, he can't get a name, he just gets an initial.
Mhm.
And I've never understood that. I mean, if I walked into your house and your ghost was standing there and he'd say, yeah, my name starts with R, I'd go, yeah, Lee, I need your whole name, I don't need an R. And I couldn't understand, if you're talking to people that have already crossed over, why don't you know their name? If you're talking to them, why is it Jay, Judy, Jimmy, Jackie? They don't know their name anymore? What, they will tell it to you, what?
Right.
And so I've never understood that part of it. But again, I can't do it, so what do I know? You know.
And that's where I get cynical, and it's like, oh, you're telling me they start with J, so you want me to start throwing out my family names that start with J.
Well, what he would do when he stood on stage, he'd go Jay, and 17,000 people would put their hand in the air. I know who it is. Well, then he'd add, well, it was a car crash. Well, half the artists went down, but half of them stayed up. If you throw enough out there, somebody's going to swoop in on it. And but I don't know with her. I don't know what to think. What's Brooke saying?
She says she's an open-minded skeptic.
That's a good
That's
way to
good.
explain things.
Right?
That's good. I might use that someday. That's very good.
And then Karen agreed, like, no ripping on the authors when they're actually there around in person.
Right.
We have to be nice to them in person. We need to do another podcast. Yeah, Karen's telling Brooks, like, I need to do another podcast that sounded like fab, like Julia Child.
I thought she sounded more like the Queen than Julia Child. So.
We need enough letters to come in to do another round of that.
Not enough to do yet. There's not enough.
It can't be that hard, though. I mean, you've got to get those kind of letters quite often.
Have you checked all your shoe boxes? I'm sure you got stockpiles of them somewhere.
I don't know. There's tubs and tubs of stuff. I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't even want to go through that stuff. I keep saying to Ted, how many years do we have to hang on to this?
Well, the letters, you ain't got to hang on to them at all. You can start pitching them and they're like, oh, that's a podcast. That's a podcast. You need to start a podcast hub. And
Throw them in the P box for the podcast.
there we go.
Yeah, okay. I'll work on that.
Oh, Brooke says she can do Julia Child.
Oh, she would rather do Julia
Well,
Child?
she can do it.
Oh, I bet she can. She can do the Queen. Why couldn't she do that?
Right. So, yeah.
What do you want? Anything? Gonna bring up anything else? I think we've destroyed it.
Thoroughly ripped it apart. Right.
In our open-minded, skeptical way.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you know, it was a cute book. It really was. It just made you think. It's like, it made you think like, well, how did they do that? That's what made me think. How is she doing that? But not, oh, that's great. That's how it works. Because I didn't pick that up at all.
Mhm.
But in the beginning, he did say that it was all loving there and he didn't want to come back. So that part was right.
Until we thought about the sex.
So I'm like, was he a sex addict when he was alive? Like,
Apparently just with her, because he didn't talk about anybody else.
because if that's why you're leaving to come back.
Yeah.
But mind you, she wrote that he said that was
Oh,
why.
right.
And that's true. That's exactly true.
That's hearsay.
That's right.
It's hearsay.
First person
He
hearsay.
didn't want to.
He could be standing behind her and be like, I never said that.
That's right.
And there's no way to
Which
dispute.
I've seen in houses, believe me. You know, the homeowners tell me something and they'll go, oh, hell no. That's not happening. No way. And it's like, oh, good. What am I supposed to do now? So, yeah.
Why does she feel the need to toot her own horn in the bed?
The what?
Why does she feel the need to toot her own horn so much, but like bragging about this?
Looking for that third husband.
Yeah,
That's right.
I think that she's looking for the third one.
I
Or
don't think
him
she
to come
realizes
back.
the demographic for this type of material is mostly women. So if she's looking for a husband, she's on the wrong trade.
True.
Unless she's decided to switch sides of the fence. The playground.
Yeah, I know. I don't think so. No, I think she's pretty straight. So I don't know. Well, I don't know. Is there anything else that we should talk about, or are we good here? Or do you have any other questions other than the book?
I always do after I leave, always.
Well, think of it.
Yeah.
What now? Think of it.
Especially after you leave our house, then there's a million questions.
Everybody always has questions after I leave.
Yeah.
Always.
Well, and you always say there's things going on around, but if people don't ask, you don't tell, so.
Mhm.
Is there anything going on around?
We don't know
right
what
here
to
in
ask,
this-
Yeah, I
because we
was gonna
can't see
say.
it.
Yeah, a whole lot.
In this area too?
That's, well, not attached to any of you, so you're good as far as that goes.
Got my seat.
Yeah, no, you're all clear here on this side with any attachments. That's not the case around the corner.
Those people
But
need.
they're gonna be gone, so it's not gonna make any difference. And your little girls, her name is Dorothy.
Dorothy. Okay. I forget what name they've said her name supposedly is, but it's not Dorothy.
Lori told me Henrietta,
Yeah. I'm like, well, that's not even.
and I'm not, maybe there is a Henrietta.
So it starts with an H.
Yeah, right. There you go. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, no, but yeah, Henrietta.
Brooke says she's compensating for something.
They're really getting cute out there, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't know. How come I know that name? And I don't know. I remember a song about that.
Henrietta or Dorothy?
NCIS Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah, okay. Edmund Fitzgerald. What is that, Ted?
It's a boat,
That's
a ship. It sank in the
Sank in the-
Lake Erie.
Was it Erie? Whatever.
The
Lake
Battle
it's
of
like-
Superior.
Superior.
I think, yeah.
He died on that ship, the guy that's in here. He's only 22 years old.
Wow.
Sounds about right.
You decided to come back to Cleveland, huh?
What's
Did
his name?
everybody died on the ship? 29 people.
Did he just say 29? That's why you're like,
Yeah, I was trying
Okay.
to, you go to 29 people. That's,
He's like, show me.
yeah, 29 people died on the ship.
They did a song that, what was it in the?
They found
late
one, they
60s?
finally found
Yeah.
one body. They said that they left him down there. And there was a song about that, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, I
I believe
thought,
it's the ballad of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
oh, yeah, okay. Was it in the 60s?
It's before my time.
Probably.
60s or 70s, Gordon Lightfoot.
Oh, okay.
Showing my age.
No, but I know now, you're right.
I feel like you're different than anybody else here.
Do we have his name? Brooke is asking.
He doesn't want his family contacted.
Well, we
I don't
certainly
think Brooke
won't.
would contact them
Well, after all this time though, who knows?
because the ship sank when? Like a long time ago, right? Are they even still alive?
74?
No.
75.
75?
Doesn't sound right. It seems like we're saying that.
75? Is that what the thing says, 75?
Really?
Were you could have been old enough to remember that in 75.
Yeah, I was in junior high in 75, so I feel like it was before that, because it seemed like it was before that. It's like when I was little, I thought.
No, it sank in 75.
She's got it right there.
Okay, okay.
In Superior?
Oh, no, wait. It was located in 75.
Okay.
Right, that makes more
70,
No,
sense.
no,
so
it sank during a storm in November 75. November 10th, it sank, and November 14th in 75, they found it.
Oh, okay.
So 4 days later, they were able to find it.
4 days.
What caused it? I've heard
A
rumors.
storm.
No, I've heard rumors that a hatch was left open and it took on water through the hatch. That it wasn't secured properly. Was it like that?
No, well, maybe, but it was a really bad storm and there was one really bad wave and then a second one right after it and the third one they went right down and broke in two.
Well, isn't that what they call the sisters? It's the three waves that will hit on the,
Yeah, you're right, the Three Sisters.
So that particular boat or just in general?
in general, like that's usually what sinks ships out on the Great Lakes. The waves come in three.
Hypotheses.
Yeah.
Three rogue waves, often called the Three Sisters.
Oh, well, that's what he said, three waves hit him.
They were reported in the vicinity of the Fitzgerald at the time she sank.
He said a lot of ships went down where the Fitzgerald went down at, apparently. Oh, what is that, like the Bermuda Triangle in Lake Superior? Oh, he doesn't know what that is, okay.
There is
okay.
like there's some people that will say like there is like an area kind of like the Bermuda Triangle in the Great Lakes that ships go down more repeatedly
Just
in that
in
area.
Superior?
I forget where, but there's a section that if ships are going down, it's highly likely it's there.
That's
Wherever
what
that
he
spot
said,
is.
Yeah,
So why is he here in Cleveland?
he's buried he's from North Olmsted
Oh,
originally. His family's here.
okay.
So they brought him home.
Sunset
Oh,
Really?
Memorial.
Yeah, so that's.
That's where his family's all buried. No, he's on a plaque at some museum cemetery in Michigan.
Oh, wow.
All 29 of them, their names are on some plaque, he said, in Michigan.
The Maritime Museum.
Correct.
Wow.
Yes, you're right. It is the Maritime
I
Museum.
don't know
You're
why I
right.
knew that.
Yeah, why did you know that?
I have no clue. I just heard it and it's like, oh, Maritime.
Is his name Bruce? They start with a B.
I'll get it. I always get it.
Did he say why he's still here?
Yeah, he's 22 years old. Who wants to be dead when they're 22?
But if he goes up, then he can come back down and have a full life again.
Yeah, if you had read this book, you'd know that.
See, now I picture a ghost standing over somebody like quicker, like turn the page,
Yeah, right.
or I wasn't done, stop.
Well, here's an article about a guy named Bruce from North Olmsted who was 22 when he died. And the article's about his mom who said that she thought about him every day
Oh,
since he died.
that's wonderful. Sad, but wonderful.
She died one day before the 40th anniversary of the sinking.
Oh, wow.
So see, we can't contact her.
Well, that would be a really good reason to go to the light to see your mom.
Is his name Bruce? Is it the same?
He's stubborn.
Huh?
Stubborn.
Especially since mom told her niece that she would be watching with Bruce from heaven.
Yeah, well, mom was wrong. He wasn't there, if it's Bruce. Right.
She was expecting that.
He had a band. He played trombone in a band.
Was it a swing band?
Yeah, I was gonna say he's like that.
Oh, he played guitar and drums too.
No, he's an overachiever.
Yeah, right. Because I made
Right on,
fun of the
buddy.
trombone. Well,
Right?
in
That's
the
why I said
70s, a
swing.
trombone band?
That's why I
No.
thought like swing or
No, from the way he looks, no.
Jazz.
And he's got his hat on, his baseball cap on backwards, no. It's not a trombone player. Well,
So today's book was They Serve Bagels in Heaven.
correct.
But we've kind of discussed it. It was a thinner book, so we're kind of over it. And Marianne's going over what's here in this space. Which, a fun fact, when all of this is done, Marianne and I will be live again, recording kind of like what we did with the Stanley Hotel, of her clearing the space, at least my space that I pay for, because I'm tired of these ghosts running up my electric bill. They're getting booted.
Yeah. but
Everybody
the
else down
portal-
that hallway can fend for themselves.
But
With
the
ghosts.
portal isn't in your space.
No. I guess it'd be nice enough to close that one down, but
I went upstairs and looked.
Mhm.
I found it.
okay.
You've never been up there.
Never had a reason to.
How long have you been on this side?
Been in the building since like 2013, 2014
But how long have you had access to this
to
side?
this side. 3-4 years.
And you've never been up the elevator?
Never had a reason to. It was just all like offices, and I'm like, I don't care.
There's an elevator.
Huh?
They,
I said, I didn't even know they had an elevator here. I just knew about the steps.
It's right there. How'd you miss it?
Probably because I'm only coming in here or across the
Probably.
hall.
Okay.
yeah.
It's like I go in people's houses and they've lived in their houses for 20 or 25 years. They've got an attic and they've never been in it.
My old house, I was never in it. That
How
attic
do
of
you
it,
not want to know what's in your attic?
because it.
Could be money.
You never
I
know.
doubt it. And I about
My
it.
attic I always
The
had to clean, so I knew what was in there.
yeah
You never know
the
what people leave up there.
well, Ian at one point got up there and kind of peeked. He's like, it looks like old empty boxes. They were tilted over. You could see, but it was upstairs in a closet, and you had to pop it up. So trying to get a ladder up those stairs, or it ain't not worth it.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Because I'm like, oh, I don't care. And like upstairs, like I picture, since I know this is the only story on this side. After that, it's sky above.
No, it's not.
No, so
Maybe on your side it is.
yeah, on that
Not
side,
here.
I was gonna say they're offices that are,
Oh, there's PT upstairs.
but it's not like a store or anything that you're gonna get into. So unless you work for those offices, those doors are going to be closed. It's like I've never felt the need to go
Yeah,
up there
but
and just
Lord-
look at a hallway.
But Lori said you could open that door up there and go straight down that hallway.
Yeah, you can open that door because I'll actually like my excess is at the end of this to a degree. And if I'm loading and unloading my car from a show, I don't come in here and then walk all the way around. I go through that door. And at the end of the hallway, before you get to where you would go into one of the other stores, there's a door that goes outside.
Okay.
So this guy, he's 22 when he was on the ship when it went down, and he opted to not cross. Are there others with him that have opted to not cross, or is everybody, does he have knowledge of that, or?
He said they hung around for a while, but then everybody went to their own. He says nobody was actually from Michigan. They were all from, and it was an ore freighter.
I think so.
And he said that everybody hung out for trying to figure out what was going to happen. Was it on there something about Canada? Wanting to bring it up? Oh, he's really upset about that.
I know the lady that passed away, the one mom, she was trying to get Canada and the US to declare it a grave site. So it must be like real close to the border of both.
In the middle, maybe?
I don't know. That was a live person.
Well, I was going to joke about it. Like,
No,
that was a
I
lie.
don't even go there. She was live. Lady came down the steps and walked. Yeah, and I was waiting for her to say something.
Well, I was going to say, no, that one was a lie.
Yeah, and that one's alive, yeah. If you think about it, nobody goes around and digs up graves and pokes at the bodies and sees what's there. You have to consider that a water grave. I don't
Right.
think you should. think I would just leave it. And I'm gonna guess if it went down then, they didn't have the kind of equipment they've got now to even research it or look and see what's in it.
I don't know. I didn't see how deep of water it was in, but Superior's pretty deep.
Yeah, Lake Erie, I think, is the shallowest.
Yeah.
Can Earthbounds go underwater like that to check it out?
They can go anywhere. They go to the center of the earth for whatever reason, I don't know.
Did they go to the
They
moon?
go to
Because that's
other
where I would go.
planets.
Yeah.
They go anywhere they want. But yeah, no. That lady that was killed when she was gambling, she walked over to the parking lot and somebody hit her over her head and threw her in a trunk and drove down, jumped her in the lake. And I don't know how long you're in a lake before you die. I don't know, 3 hours, 2 hours, or minutes, I don't know. And when she came out, her spirit, her body stayed down there, but her spirit came out, and the car was gone, the guy had stolen it. She had no idea who did it, because she didn't see it, because he hit her in the back of the head. Then no, they can go in the water, they can do anything like that. Yeah.
It's 530 feet down in the Canadian waters close to the international boundary.
There you go, that's right, it's between Canada and the United States, okay,
Just on the Canada side.
yeah. Well, that's not what I expected, because I hadn't seen him here before.
How many did he say died?
29.
He was, yeah. There were 29 people that died, he said. Does that seem like that's a small amount of people on a boat?
Not for a freighter.
Yeah, small
No.
freighter. If
No,
it's
I
just
have,
storage.
in fact, I just met her for dinner tonight.
Don't call it small. Small, it was the biggest one ever then.
Sorry.
They didn't call it
Stand
Mighty
corrected.
Fits for nothing.
They didn't call it what?
Mighty Fits.
That's true.
Or Big Fits.
Yeah, you're right.
Not dramatically.
Like, what were they doing on that boat? Were there workers on that
Yeah,
boat?
no, they were
Or
working,
workers?
yeah,
Yeah.
no, they were
They
working.
live in-
Or
they
it
live
was
in
an
iron.
ore ship.
They were
moving,
from back and forth,
transporting.
transporting ore.
So all you have is the crew.
Ship, you can go on a ore ship that's, it's docked between the stadium and the Great Lakes Science Center.
Yeah, they're decked
It's
out.
part of the Great Lakes Science Center.
Oh, like an exhibit?
Yeah, you can go on the ship and they got like the bays.
The coast cutter down there.
No, it's right in between the Great Lakes Science Center and the stadium. It's,
Not the Mather.
is it the Mammoth?
Is it the con?
I don't think the Mather's ore ship, oh, it is, never mind, it is an
The
ore
Mather-
ship. Is that the one that you can go on, but what's the other one you can go on
There's
down
the
there?
USS Cobb, the
The
submarine. you
Cod.
can go on.
That's the ice cutter, what?
That's the submarine.
No, which one's the ice cutter that we went? That one's not there anymore?
I understand there's ore freighters that cross the lakes all the time, and they're longer, bigger ships. They offload there, right where she said by Whiskey Island.
Island, yeah.
They offload their iron ore, they're little pellets like marbles. They offload them, and then they load them on the shorter ships that can make the river, and they take them up the river.
Okay,
They're coming into it's pretty cool. You can see, I see them all the
just
time.
watch them,
They come
okay.
in, they dock, they offload it, and they leave, and then another ship will dock and they'll.
And the ice doesn't bother these ore
I
freighter
don't know,
things?
I don't know about the winter. I don't know about the.
I had lunch with a niece tonight, and her, might as well be her husband. They've been together 20 years. He works on one of the freighters. And when the ice, when the lakes freeze over, then he's here.
They're-
They're not shipping, but
Yeah,
other than that, like he just left and he's gonna be out for like 10 weeks.
yeah,
Because they can't find staff. Last year, all their
Nobody can find
vacations
staff.
were canceled.
yeah.
So,
When my nephew was like 21 or 22, they were looking for help on the ships then. And it was that you're out, they said about 3 months and you're in. But the amount of money they
Yep.
made in that 3 months was
Mhm.
astronomical.
No, he doesn't think so.
Oh, yeah, he had a fast car and a motorcycle. He
Oh.
did fine. There you go. Yeah, he did just fine.
I have to wonder what what his pay would equate to now, like if you adjust it for inflation.
Probably nothing.
Yeah.
Our first van cost more than our first house.
When I went to go get the car that I have now, thinking back the last time I bought a car and it was a brand new like 4-door Dodge truck and like what I paid then and like what the stickers say now, I'm like, oh, wow. Never mind,
Our
it's been like
first
20
house
years.
in Parma was a double. We paid $18,000. Of course, we charged rent upstairs and it was like $200 a month. So, but find that now, no. No way.
You can find something for 600 a month.
No. No, it's terrible. Well, I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. We are still aiming for doing next month. We will do next month and that will be the last one, I think. I don't know if we're gonna go any more or not. For sure, we won't do one in December because of Christmas and everything. It's too much. But, and if it turns out that enough people say something or complain about it, we may go ahead and try it again, but it's just not what it's cracked up to be. I wish it was.
At Borders, I would come to Borders when you were there, and it was a mob.
Oh, I know. Strongsville isn't that far from here. I still see people that I would love the book club. Well, why don't you come? Oh, all the way out to North Olmsted? It's not that far.
And right off the highway, too close to the highway.
That's
too.
right. It's close.
It's even
Your entire
quicker.
demographic lives in Strongsville.
Yeah, so they say.
It's like it's even quicker if you just come up the back roads, like Cook Road to, Stearns and everything. Like,
And I don't know
quicker.
those ways, so the 480 works just fine, except I hate the traffic, but it's okay. It only jams up in one spot. So. And we come out early enough so we can go next door to that little family restaurant and eat supper before we come over. That Canaries that's a good little restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So is Fragapane's Bakery on the other side.
Yeah, I'm not a real fan of theirs. One or two things. I'm not a real big fan. I'm not a big fan of Michelangelo either. Whoa.
You okay?
Yeah. Nail polish falling out of pockets.
Anything else? We'll let it go.
Did you guys get to go through the merry-go-round museum after all of us left?
We got pictures
There were a couple pictures we put up.
that we put up already, and a lot of people got stuff on it.
Yeah, I
They-
saw.
they
what you
really
guys were
did.
talking about.
Yeah. But those people that own that museum, they won't let me get rid of their ghosts.
Well,
They make money on their ghosts,
exactly.
so they're not gonna let me. But there was a cute little girl there, her name was Lily. She really wanted to go, so I
Told her how.
just told her how to do it on her own.
There you
I
go.
didn't make the light, but she got to cross over, so they want to go. That's
How are you gonna tell a little girl
That's so
no?
mean.
It's all about
Love,
free
we're supposed to
will.
love, right? Do it right.
Do you really want to, basically trap a ghost in your property?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
even though you're making money off of hauntings, I don't think you want one there that doesn't want.
Yeah,
I
but
was gonna say there's
have-
plenty others that will come hang out.
Right.
That's right, that's right,
It's easy enough to get out of.
that's right.
Don't trap a little kid.
Plus the fact that they're like, that's like the castles in Europe, they like their ghosts there too. And the merry-go-round museum has its own group of ghost hunters that come through on vacation. They're all carousel hunters,
Mhm.
that's what they do, so.
Oh, so the question is online what the next book is. It is The Awake Dreamer, which is on our website. Of course, it's way.
Like I said, it's pretty covered.
That's pretty. I have more coming, a few more coming. So this is November's book. So that's on the website. I'm down to the 2 right now, but there's like 3 or 5 more coming.
Well, and like I said, I know that this lady's very good that wrote this book, because I was on her podcast, and you can tell when people ask the right questions. It's, you know, they say, well, so tell me everything. It's like, no, ask me everything, because I'm not telling you everything. So I don't know what you want.
Right.
So you just don't know, but definitely. How was Al, okay with everything?
He doesn't,
He got something.
he's got something, but he won't.
You won't show it. You're kidding me.
Well, because, you know, he's a good old Jewish boy that when we're dead, we're gone and there's nothing left. And he's sticking to it. And he goes, and if I wake up after I die and there is something, I'm going to be pleasantly surprised.
Shocked is the word he's looking for. Because when I get invited to funerals where somebody was an agnostic or didn't believe in anything, they're standing there shocked. They're not a pile of ash.
Yeah.
They're really surprised.
And you would think between me and my sister-in-law, his brother's wife, he would be pretty much used to stuff like that.
None.
Because we were dating and his mother came to talk to me and I had never met her. She'd been gone since '86. And I'm like, my sister-in-law's on the same way. She said, I don't know how many conversations with her. And it's like, okay.
And your mother-in-law has never told you anything that only Al would know.
Oh, yeah.
And he still doesn't
And he
believe.
still doesn't believe it. He thinks
Sounds
I
like
had
my
a
brother.
really strange dream. Okay.
It's called denial.
Just like I keep telling him, I had to, you know, I saw his library, I clean it out, and then I got the seed, you know, made sure it was clean and put the seed in there. Because, I mean, it was getting so negative in there that I couldn't sit to read. So I had to get rid of the negativity. You know, instead of doing this once a month, I'll just get a seed and put it in there.
Works so much easier. Right. You got a call from a fireman today.
From who?
From who?
For Cleveland?
O'Neill.
I don't.
I've already done his house and the firehouse, so I don't know what his problem is. I gotta call him back.
I'm at the station. I just retired, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Congratulations.
But when I was there, you don't talk about this kind of stuff very often. And if you do, you don't say a whole lot. And I talked to this one guy, we're talking, and he's saying stuff, and I'm hearing him. And so we start dialogue, but then somebody else hears, and it turns into, it's like there's 3 or 4 guys, and it's like 4 or 5 guys in the kitchen. 2 or 3 of us are talking, like 2 of us are talking, but the rest are overhearing. And then another guy leaning against the counter, he's like, well, Mary Ann was at my house. And finally out there, this other guy said, yeah, I know Mary Ann. Are you kidding me? You're letting me sit here and feel like I'm
In front of idiots, they all know me, right?
But they all know you. It's like,
That happened to me at a funeral, a family funeral. Went to the funeral. I found out you went to my brother's house. You went to my stepdad's house.
yeah,
And
It's like Marianne Anonymous.
no idea.
yeah, but nobody wants to talk.
But nobody wants to talk about it, yeah. Well, what's John's last name, Ted? Kathy? Solinka Johnson.
Johnson,
Yeah, he shows up for everything, him and his wife, yeah. I finally stopped him. I have to laugh. Every month he puts an order in for 4 smudge sticks. His house is totally secure.
Maybe he likes the smell.
Yeah, I don't think so, but I asked him about it. At the Carousel Museum, he came up, him and Kathy were there for the museum, and I said, John, why are you buying so many smudge sticks? What are you doing with them? The firehouse is secure, your house, he goes, well, if I come home and I'm crabby, he says, if I just smudge, I feel better.
His wife leaves him alone. It smells.
Kathy just shakes her head and says, yeah, okay, if it makes it feel better. I said, why don't you just buy bar soap? If you just, the Let's Sea Salt soap, that works better than, just like the sludge stick, and you have to stick the house. He said, oh, okay. Ted came upstairs, he goes, he just bought 4 bars of soap. I'm like, geez, oh man. If you have me do it, believe it, otherwise it's not worth it.
Maybe you just gotta think about the number 4.
I don't know. Well, no, 1 a week. So, and everybody does their own thing. I don't know. Yeah, there was that firehouse on. Where was that firehouse, Ted, that had the horses, a stall still in
It
there?
was 25th and Clark, the Wild West.
Where was it?
It was 25th and Clark.
Was 25th and Clark. There's an old firehouse there.
No, it's an old single engine company. It's an
Yep.
old station, yeah.
And the stalls are still there because that was the first one that they pulled the wagon with horses. And that one guy was just against the sink the whole time.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Saying nothing, just looking at me. But the other guys were asking, and I finally looked at him and I said, "You're never going to fix your train set down your basement, just so you know."
My station I was at was, I know it was loaded. There was so much activity. There was so much energy in that station. It was great. It was a hole in the wall. It was just not you need a lot of work at the station.
Well, you knew the names of some of the ghosts that would come and go from the station back and forth to our house before the first time.
Yeah.
The first time, yeah.
But it was a great station, and the days would go so fast. We were busy, we're happening through. Time flew there so fast. And I was at another station that you told me was a slower station, but you cleared it and there were seats there. And whenever I work at that station, it is the longest station. There's nothing happening there. It is just
Boring.
and it's just boring. So the one that you cleared is just might be clear, but
Yeah, but
it's a long
not,
day.
not so much fun.
And I
Right.
was debating transferring there because it's near my house. And it's just like, I like this place.
Like
It'd
the
be
excitement.
His days
Yeah.
on this when he dusts and accidentally might have
Right. Oh,
Put it back up,
those
maybe.
doors are so high in a firehouse, though. You can't get up there. They have to stand on the truck to get the seats up there on the top of them. So yeah, it's
Netflix we can't get.
yeah. Eventually, you
Get it
get
right
to it,
down.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, everybody. Thanks for coming, and hopefully we'll see you next month.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Catch us on Twitch and YouTube for the clearing. So you guys are going to go grab something to eat real quick, right? Is that what you said? You're going to
No,
go to
we did
Canary?
before we came
Came over? Okay. So almost pretty much immediately after here in about 10, 15 minutes-ish, we'll be going live on those 2 platforms. You can watch it happen live. Otherwise, it'll come down and you got to wait for the podcast.
Like, subscribe.
The what?
They need to like and subscribe.
Oh yeah, like, subscribe, hit the bell. Thank you. See, I need my own Flavor Flav. I'm trying to remember all the other things to say. Flavor Flav.